Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SSRG Research Stories. Today, I have with me people that I have worked with and I consider friends. And we are going to be talking about an article titled It's All About Connection, Digital and Physical Spaces for Mandarin and Punjabi speaking older immigrants living in Calgary. And before I start asking these amazing scholars about the article, I would want to invite them to introduce themselves one at a time. Over to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pins, to invite me to join in this conversation. And I can share a little bit about myself. Maybe at the beginning, I would like to introduce myself. Yes, my name is Sam, and is one of the research assistant in the program. I am a registered social worker in Alberta, Calgary, Canada. Um, Previous when I do this research, I have been working in senior population for more than 5 years in a Chinese association. They provide a lot of a community for the senior, and my main
Mhm.
role is to visiting them one by one to understand their emotion, their loneliness, something like that. So because of that, I really understand they have so many barriers and they feel really sometimes very lonely, especially the single senior. They maybe living alone. Will
Mhm.
feel a little bit challenging to engage in the community. So I hopefully can doing this research to understand more themselves, and hopefully we can do some advocacy for them, make them to be more engaging in the community, have a more meaningful and happiness in their life.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Master Omar.
Hi, my name is Hafsah. I'm a recent MSW graduate, and I was also a research assistant on this project. Um, yeah, this was a very interesting project for me to join in because this wasn't a population that I had worked with or was ever anticipating to work with, older adults. I've primarily worked with like youth and program development, and now I'm working within policy, so more systems level right now. Yeah, it was a very cool experience as a Punjabi, just reconnecting with community, especially like older adults. Like I have grandparents here, but they live in Vancouver. I'm in Calgary. So not being able to see or interact with them for long periods of time was hard, but reconnecting with older adults, it really reminded me of like my grandparents, and hearing their stories were really very similar to what my grandparents share, and they treat you like their own kid too, so that
Yeah.
was a fun experience within this project. I'll talk about more later. um but yeah, my I focus a lot on like community, belonging, inclusion, and so a lot of that aligned with this project and what I do professionally and personally. So I was really really excited that Prince asked me to join the team. And it was also a great way to practice my Punjabi, which was quite rusty. But I think by the end of it, I got better. So that's what really matters.
That's good.
Mm.
So I'm just going to jump in. Can any of you tell us the aim of this research? Anyone can
Sure,
go.
sure. Sure. Maybe I can talk a little bit of my understanding of the aim of the study.
Yeah.
And I'll speak from like a more like Punjabi community perspective, and
Mhm.
I'll continue to take that into the other answers I provide. So the aim of the study was to connect with older immigrants, right? Especially within the Punjabi community, there's been a really large migration of older adults coming from where they've lived for like their whole lives, to join usually their families, their children
Mhm.
here. And so just connecting with them and seeing how they've adjusted or integrated or assimilated, right? And in many cases, a lot of older adults weren't able to fully integrate or assimilate.
Mhm.
And so just seeing how it is as someone who has been uprooted at the age of 60, 70, 80 plus, into a brand new country with new customs, culture, language. you don't have your community or your extended family anymore, and kind of being plopped into a new place, and just seeing how they're faring, and how we can make things better for them, right? Seeing how their futures can look brighter, how they can connect better, how they can be more included in their own communities, outside of their like immediate family. So in my mind, that was the aim of the study.
That's the what I is in the article, is that it's more about creating meaningful opportunities for older adults to connect more with
Totally.
people in the community, and to address social isolation and loneliness, which has a lot of health and emotional and psychological implications on their well-being. So moving on, so what are the main findings in this study?
Yeah, totally echo with you as well. Yeah, the main purpose for this study, hopefully to make our immigrant senior to be happier or more meaningful life, and they can really engage in the community, even though go to the new country. So it's so surprising me. The finding is that I really hear so many seniors. They speak in Mandarin. They told me that most of them they come to Canada, they come to Calgary because they have their children's moving already in the Calgary, so they just based on the sponsorship they come here. The finding is the main thing they really want to be supported by the whatever agency government is the physical spaces, because they told me that one of the big challenges to make them to be isolated is they cannot find a space that make
So
them
like a
to be
community center where there's places where they
yeah,
can
like a
gather.
community center, a
Yeah.
local community center is indoor,
Mm-hmm.
because they mentioned that it's maybe very quite specific for Calgary. Maybe other cities city may have different reason, but specific in Calgary because the weather here, you know that Calgary is very cold outside, especially when maybe the winter time is very long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we start the
Mm-hmm.
winter maybe at October
Yeah, so
until
getting
maybe April
access to
or
even
May.
places that they would gather
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
challenging.
So yeah, they are senior and they are from Asian, so
Yeah.
they get used to be warmer weather, and then they come
Mm-hmm.
here. The winter time is very long, so in the winter time they cannot really go out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to go out to connect with people, only one choice. If the place is indoor,
Mm-hmm.
that equipped with some other facility, for example, they have washroom, they have warm air, they have some food, something like that. So they said it's difficult to find. But I one more thing I find that they are very smart. They have so many wisdom because
Mm-hmm.
they really want to connect. But
Mm-hmm.
even though they have some barrier, they can find some spaces. For example, most of them they say, oh, they will go to a big shopping mall, and they
Mm-hmm.
can find little small spaces
Mm.
because that may be some spaces that no people always to go over there, not cover, and they
Yeah.
will find some spaces they can get activity, get connection over there.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that there is spaces because they sometimes they will have some kind of risk to use these spaces because some of the shopping mall they have some security to asking them, oh, why you're using here, and they feel a little bit kind of shy to using there.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use there?
Mm.
So they really want whatever the government, and they have some senior center that can specific for them to using for the activity for
Mm.
senior activity. Yeah.
Maybe Hafsa can shed a little light on because you've talked about the physical spaces. Maybe Hafsa can shed a little light on the digital spaces, what the findings says.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to say, like, before getting into that, the physical space, like having like that third space for older adults was so important to them.
Mm.
Like, they were homebound, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctors for appointments, but having like the community centers was so important. And connecting digitally too, right? Like, a lot of the older adults had devices, right? And so it was a way for them to connect to back home, wherever
Mm-hmm.
it was, right? So it was also important. They were still in the know. Like they knew about like current events, like news that was happening overseas, and then they had people to talk to about it
Mm-hmm.
in those physical spaces, right? Or
Mm.
or I saw some like interesting like group chats, or like, some of the older women were part of like WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups. Facebook was popular.
Yeah.
Didn't really know how to use social media that well, but it was like an effort or like a want, right? And a lot of older adults said that they do wish that they were able to navigate digital spaces a bit better, because that was the new way to connect, and also a way to connect with like their grandchildren.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, right? Like they connect with like younger people or even their own children. And just having a phone on them all the time. It's funny, like it reminds me of like, as my parents would be like, you're on your phone all the time. But then doing this research, I'm like looking around, I'm like, interesting. All these older adults are just like either on their phone or, like have their phones on hand. And so, but it was
Yeah.
nice to see that they were like open and able to like understand at least the basic mechanisms of like digital space. Yeah, because just echoing off Sam, like, the weather in Calgary is really rough, and sometimes and a lot of the older adults were using public transit. So navigating the bus systems, also great use of their phones and technology to navigate transit, but sometimes you're housebound, right?
Yeah.
Either because of the weather or mobility issues. And so having that phone, having that computer, having the TV, like having a digital presence also like helps with that like inclusive community connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just summarize what your finding says. It says that physical spaces are very important because older adults need places to gather. However, because of weather, which brings transportation challenge, accessibility challenge, digital spaces also complement this, especially during the winter. It's a place where older adults keep connecting with family members, with friends, and every other people that they can connect with. So why is this important? What are the implications? Why is it important that this study has found that physical and digital spaces are good and complement each other? What do we do with it?
I would say I would totally also think that from Mandarin speaking population senior, they also using a lot of digital spaces to sharing the information for their daily life. For
Yeah.
example, grocery shopping, those things. And for the physical spaces, absolutely important for them because when we are talking about okay, you're senior. So what is the most common activity you will do to engage with people, whatever, engage with your friend or family? Most of them, they were saying that, oh, they love dancing, they love singing. So dancing, you need spaces to doing dancing, right? You cannot
Yeah.
just stay at home, right? And you need a group of people.
Mm.
And we find that there are a lot of senior, they really love to doing voluntary. I mean, they are very organized. They can organize by themselves. They can have people as the teachers. I mean, a dancing instructor. They have some people to connecting people. They have some people to finding some spaces. But the one thing is they cannot find a spaces. This is the main challenging for them to make them to connect to each other. So I think the implication for the future is that I know maybe there is some senior center in somewhere, but we mentioned that most of them is access in the community through the public transportation and the weather charging as well. So even though they know there is a senior center over there, maybe only one for specific committee for Mandarin speaking committee, maybe in downtown there is one. But they are not, most of them, they are maybe not living over this community, so they are very challenging to access to that one.
So
So
we need more senior centers.
yeah, we need more local center
Yeah.
for each
That is
community, and they
close to
can
the
really
older adults. So even
yeah.
during the winter, they can easily get there.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And maybe can be accessible by public transportation. That may be
Mhm.
also helpful for them as well.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. We are almost out of time, but I would give the last opportunity to Hafsa in case she has something else to say.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, those physical spaces are so important, but the digital space also provides like such opportunity for learning as well.
Mm.
A lot of like the adults that I was older adults I was speaking to, like one of their goals was to learn English more, right? And yes, it's great to practice with like your friends like in those
Yeah.
community centers, but like learning the basics like
Mm.
came from off your phone or off your iPad,
Yeah.
like learning the basics like that and other things, right? Learning how to read in English better or so I think fantastic learning opportunities and something to leverage more.
Mm-hmm.
And even like within those like physical spaces, like offering like iPads or like computers, like and offering classes through that.
Mm-hmm.
They're really engaged
Yeah.
because they feel like everyone else is doing it. I want to do it too.
Mm.
So that's still a piece of being included,
Mm.
which is really, really, it was really nice to see how open they were. So yeah, just promoting and making more accessible to, right? Like access to those
Digital
digital
opportunities. Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
like not only providing them in those community centers, but also like online, like
Yeah.
through Zoom or through whatever else. Yeah, I'll end with
Thank
that.
you so much. I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time, and I hope that we'll get the opportunity to chat more about other research engagements.
Mm, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Prince.
you.
Sure.
Thank
Sam.
you, please. Yeah.